guys, welcome back. Listen, SPY in the market is showing some signals. The market is moving, and I want to show you guys exactly where that market is headed. Listen, I told you guys a couple of days ago that we would see certain amount of moves, right? We had that pendulum swing. Remember, right in front of you, I told you we had the breakout pullback zones. We had that range of emotion, and now look at SPY, right? Over 688 above the gamma squeeze, going inside of a range of emotion, all right? Remember, I told you that the market is setting up some of the best signals, and you got to be able to be ahead of the game and position before the market happens. And that's exactly what you guys see in front of you. Listen, if you've been watching, then what you should do is you should smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you get these valuable videos when they drop. Why not subscribe? It's free. YouTube's telling me that 70% of the people watching are not subscribed. So guys, do me a favor, subscribe, hit that like button, and push this video. It really helps the new algorithm with YouTube. Now, let's get back to the lesson at hand. We have this market here, right? And if you guys remember, we talked about this, okay? And so I want you guys to see the accuracy, right? The accuracy of my guidance, so you can understand where we're headed, all right? This is the prior thinking, a quick recap, and we're gonna get right back into the video. In a test and retest market, all right? And so it's not really hard to see what we have in front of us. The market has been doing some wild swings. Okay, we have been in a bull market, but it was time for some cooling off, and that's kind of what we've been getting over the past couple of weeks, all right? And so right in front of you, what do we have? We have a market that's below, inside of a range of the previous close. Looks like we want to take price back towards the upside. However, this is what I want you to think about. Now, these two things here, you see the arrow pointing at a pendulum swing, all right? These are pendulum swings where market can go, and in the middle here we have a range of emotion. This is here what the point of control is, the POC, the point of control. And what now, I'm going to stop that video right there, right? Because I want you guys to see that the real move that I said that we were trying to make our way back to the upside. And now what we have right here is a W shape, okay? I mentioned about these patterns that they could possibly happen. And today being a Friday, right? A lot of folks did not expect this type of move to happen. But when you have a game plan, when you have a trading plan that works and a framework that works, you're not guessing when you're trading, you're understanding patterns and human behavior. And that's what you guys see here, all right? We have that move, that continuation that we spoke about. So what's next? What we want to think about is, first of all, what's the sentiment, all right? Are we in fear, in greed? Well, the market is telling us that we are in fear, all right? Around 42. But then 0 to 100, we're at 42. We're not in neutral. We're not extreme fear. We're not in extreme greed. All right. So this is territory for the market to have wild swings and to wait until the end of the day, end of the month, to have these type of movements. All right. So today's OPEX Friday. It is Friday. We have fear. Okay. And I want you guys to pay attention to something. All right. This channel was created for those who wanted to find consistency in trading, for those who knew that it was possible to make a certain amount of money, percentage gains, right? And understanding risk to reward. It's not about getting rich in the stock market. It's about finding your edge in the market, what works for you. It's not cookie cutter, all right? It can be molded into your own unique style with enough screen time, a desire to really learn this, and understanding risk to reward, all right? Emotional control in trading is very important in understanding psychology, and it's a very good catchphrase word, but the things that I teach on my chart are showing you how to navigate human behavior. That's why this is the unique trading group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. Now, how are we going to make some money from this? All right, it's 2:19 p.m. at the time of this recording. OPEX Friday is today. We have the COT report, and the money is moving. All right, the money is moving. And so I want you to see the market eternals. Okay, I teach this to my people in my group that are joining my Discord. We have a deep session about the market eternals. All right, how the market really works. Right now we have a put call ratio around 0.80. That's really telling right now. Put call ratio is how many people are buying puts and how many people are buying calls. That's what you want to know. All right, we have the high yield corporate bond. All right, we are still above the 21 here. Let's check the 30-minute time frame. All right, we're seeing continuation now. Whenever the HYG goes up, whenever this happens for the high yield corporate bond, SPY likes to go up as well. All right, let's check the bond market, the TOT market. What do we have here? Okay, now if you guys are wondering, why are we checking these charts? You never heard of these tickers before, all right? Listen, there are levels to trading and levels to investing. And I want you guys to understand this one thing. If you think that the retail traders have an upper hand, then you're very mistaken, all right? This goes in layers, all right? First is the credit market, right? Is the credit market stressed? Is the housing market stress, right? And the interest rates, all right? These three things come together, and there are ticker symbols and patterns on the chart that can help you understand before the move happens. Is it risk on or risk off? That's what it's about. And so you won't hear a lot of retail traders talking about the bond market, but I'm letting you guys know that part of my serious community, all right, we teach traders, whether beginner, intermediate, or advanced, to recognize these patterns to give you an edge. There's value there. So check out those links below, get educated and entertained. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only a mentor and or coach. Now, again, these market eternals help us decide whether to go risk on or risk off. And once I see a couple of those things checked off, a part of my trading plan, that's when I go back to the SPY and I see what is going on. And last but not least, we have the VIX, right? The VIX is a volatility index. This lets us know volatility over the past 30 days and the next 30 days. And right now, we are below the 21 on the 30-minute. We are falling right now, retracing a little bit. We could have some more wild swings into the end of the week. All right, February is going to be here, and the end of the month is going to be here next week. And so I'm going to have that trading signal for you for the March trading signal, so you guys can have a 30-day game plan. So be looking out for the March 30-day trading signal. All right, and so the VIX is going down, and usually when the VIX goes down, the SPY goes up. All right, it's a inverse market. Now we've seen a couple of market eternals. Let's go back to the SPY and see where we are. We are still above 688. 688 is the gamma level, all right, where the buyers are going to step in and squeeze the bears. Now we have a technical pattern. Now remember, I taught you guys to find out where our traders trapped, all right? So we have a series of what? We have a series of higher lows. Okay. All right. This was your buying opportunity. We spoke about that. We spoke about that before in our previous videos. If you've been watching and paying attention, then you know. All right. Smash that like button because you're a part of the money team. All right. So buying opportunity. All right. I said that we could V bottom. All right. That we were inside of a wild market, inside of this swing, the range of emotion, all right? But these are breakout pullback zones, and we are stuck in between the range. And right now is a telltale time. We have to get past 690 in order to see continuation in this pendulum swing, okay? To retest some of these gaps that were unfilled, all right, since about a week or two ago, all right? 695, 691, 692 to be exact. 691 is where the gap fill is, all right? And so if that gap fill, all right, what we can have is two scenarios. Now, right here's the area you want to think about. This is the guidance going in to next week, all right? Remember, the time of this recording is between 2 and 3. On the 20th, on a Friday before market close. All right, so you want price. Here's this thing here is where the gap is representing what the gap is, right? And so you see SPY. Let's move this breakout pullback zone. Now you see where we are now. We're heading towards that gap. Now usually this is one of the moves you see. Get ready, get your notes ready, all right? Get your mental note ready, all right? A gap fill, break out of the gap, pull back to the top of that range of the gap, and continue. This is called a gap fill and go, okay? All right, or another scenario could be this, which we haven't happened yet, all right? It could be a gap fill and reversal. Break out of the zone, come back to it, hold the bottom of the belly, right? And we continue back towards down in the pendulum swing. These are the two things you want to wait. So at 2:24, an hour and some change before 4 o'clock, all right, gets here. If you're trading or watching this and you tell yourself, man, I was watching that move, and you see it on the SPY, and we are on the hourly time frame. Now, right now is the decision zone for the SPY. We have to get past the 688, 689, 690 in order for us to see a continuation over the weekend for that rally everyone wants. If we do not see that, that means that the price was not accepted, and we will rotate back towards the downside. But around 3:30, the COT report will be released, and we will will know what's going on. I wanted you guys to see these scenarios before it happens so you can understand how accurate my trading is for you guys to latch on to something that actually works, okay? And so this variation in front of you could possibly happen. We already got the move and the acceleration above the 21, okay? We're making our technical bear trap. Let the bears try once, let them try twice, all right? This is number one. They tried to take price down, but they failed. They failed to take price back down. This is what this means. And this is number two. The same thing. It failed to break. And it's a W shape. It resembles a W, and it's also called a double bottom. A technical trap, trapping in the bears, okay? And that's what now, it might not look as pretty as a W, but that's what you have in front of you. That W, you have a pivot point here low and a slightly higher. That just means that the bulls have a little momentum right now, okay? That's what's going on inside of this range of emotion. Now, what is the more detail we could get? All right, I want to show you something. Okay, now right here at this level is 689. Okay, and we are below 689. All right, that means there are stops right here within this gap. Somebody's begging for this to get broken, right? And so there's traders who are scalping and day trading, trying to get small gains and not thinking about the long term, right? The in and out. Nothing wrong with that. They're making their money like the bank. There's in and out, okay? But the way that they do that, and when they do that, it's going to cause back and forth movement. People are trading with fear. They don't want to stay in all day. They want to get out. They're afraid of losing money. They're in and out. They might be making good money. And so they're scalping on a smaller time frame, okay? They're scalping on a smaller time frame. And these are the moves you see here, back and forth. All right, the point of control still right here, range of emotion. Okay, and so that's what you see inside of this range. People just making small money back and forth until the end of the day, when the CLT report comes out and it really reveals what's going on. That's when you'll see price acceptance and you'll see price does what it does. Most of the time it does rally after a market or on the weekend, and then we come up to high prices over the weekend. That's just how it works. But we have to get above here. Now the trade setup above that 689 will look something like this. Now you see this wick here. I'm going to grab our marker. Let's say price, like right now, is broken out a couple of times. You can clearly see that. Let's make sure you guys can see that. All right. We're going to make, as a matter of fact, let's make sure that this top is visible here of resistance here. All right. Now we're going to make that a green line so far. Well, let's make it a red line. Why? Because it's been rejected. All right. Price has rejected. So let's make this a red line. Okay. This current candle where that dotted green line is, that's where price is live right now, where price is at right now. And it's currently below this 689. We have to break out, right? But let's say that price does do that, right? Let's say price does break out from here. This is what you want to see. You want to see price break out from here. So a breakout, okay? And then pull back to this zone. Now let's take off this here. I want the screen to be clear for you guys. All right, let's get back to here. All right, now let's say price breaks out from our red line, breakout, pullback. All right, see right here to the right, this is the breakout pullback zone. Same thing we have here. All right, if it breaks out, it could pull back. All right, and this is where you want to try to trap in some rookies that don't think that we could possibly be going up. All right, you want to take your parallel channel. Okay, you want to catch these prior swings. Okay. All right, and this is where your money is. All right, you have a dip buy here that you could buy. Okay, you see that? You have that dip you can buy, right? Because that area right there creates more of a higher low. All right, these are easy elementary patterns, higher lows and higher highs. And because that structure means bullish, all right, it still hasn't broken structure, even if we fall back right here and we still hold there, all right, at the top of that range. This is a range as well. There's where stops are. The W shape, you see that? W shape. Okay, we break out from here and pull back. It'll be what they call a breakout pullback, just for us to revisit these levels here inside of the pendulum swing. Okay, guys, retest these highs. All right, that's what I'm looking for as long as we stay bullish. But if we cannot get above 689, 690 convincingly today, right, there could be some trouble. All right, now the market is not going to make its move until the market close. Understand that. But if we can get above, we could see a rally over the weekend But if we cannot get past 690, guys, we can stay within a range within 690 and 685, because 688, the number that we're at right now, this is what they call gamma. That's right. Gamma squeeze. Okay. Gamma is a fuel for price. That's where buyers are sitting, where the fuel is actually happening. All right. That's what I want you guys to understand. Now, we're going to wrap this video up, but I want to show you something real quick. All right. I want to show you the actual gamma chart so you guys can see it for yourself real quickly here. Here's the gamma. All right. You see the gamma exposure. All right. For bulls is 688 and 687. So we're right in between there. All right. We want to see price get above this number and stay convincingly for some momentum towards some of these previous numbers, these highs. All right. Wanted to show you guys that real quick. Now let's get back to the charts. SPY, we're still moving. All right, we're at 689, guys. You see our pendulum swing and our thing is working. All right, breakout. We got to break those stops here. And let's check out the Qs. All right, see what the Qs are doing. All right, hope you guys are enjoying the commentary. All right, if so, smash that like button. All right, will you? It helps the channel. All right, so here we go. Now, last couple of days in our previous video, we also talked about the Qs and how we had to get past here, and I said that this was your money zone. I still have those same markers on my chart, so you guys know that it's not phony. All right, and the Qs are still struggling to get out of this range here. All right, could we break potentially? If we can break this structure here, right, this simple line break of this yellow line right here, if we can break overnight, right, we will be coming up towards the 615, 616 level. All right, that's the area that the market's trying to get to. But again, guys, we could reject there. We do have some gaps towards the upside. If I wanted to hold and trade, I would put time on my contract. All right, we deal with expiration dates when we trade options. That's right, I trade options. That means for each contract, I get 100 shares. When you trade options, you buy contracts in order to trade. And each of those contracts are worth 100 shares. And so I can get 100 shares of QQQ for cheap. I don't have to pay 608 times 100. I can pay maybe $200 or $300 for 100 shares. That's leverage. All right. And so that's what you want to think about. All right. Getting time on your contract, maybe 3 months out, 30 days out. All right. But trade with risk to reward in mind. You don't have to trade. Sometimes the best trade is no trade. But that's what's going on here. We got a couple of buyers stepping in, but we got to break over structure. We got to close over these previous pivots. All right. You see the same structure here. All right. Same structure, the W shape. Let the bears try once, let them try twice. It even looks like a inverse head and shoulders here. All right. We talked about that. Inverse head and shoulders. All right. You have a shoulder, and a head, just like on us. All right. And that's what you see here, as well as higher lows. All right, you see the higher lows here. All right, now this is the 1 hour time frame. So I'm just showing you guys the things that you can watch and look at to understand structure, market structure, confidence in holding price, understanding what is it doing right now. All right, and we do see price holding, making higher lows, and so that's what we have now. And we have about an hour and 30 minutes left in the market, and so this is what you want to see. Rewind the video if you need to check it out again to get your head around it, to wrap your head around it. All right, give yourself some grace and some time, all right, to try to digest these things. All right, now I'm going to do Tesla, and we're going to stop there and wrap up this video. Thanks you guys for watching. We're going to double back on the SPY. This is live right now. All right, Tesla is lagging. All right, it's lagging behind the Qs. All right, in order for Tesla to see some continuation, it's got to close above the 21. Got to close above the 21 the same time. Same thing that it did here this time on the 24th, 2025. All right, that was last year in November. We're in that same demand zone here. All right, could we possibly go back towards the upside? That depends on if price is getting bought up. And then we have what here? We have I want to say a D style. 1 second as I navigate this screen here. I want to say that we have a D-shaped volume profile. And that reminds me, guys, I will be dropping an exclusive volume profile video. All right. I know you guys use indicators if you're watching, but indicators are lagging indicators, the volume profile, and different metrics like the delta, cumulative delta, order flow. These things are future forward thinking. It's not lagging. So I like positioning, and I like knowing what's going to happen before it happens. All right. I know that they teach you that's not possible, but it is actual possible. And that's what this whole entire video is about. It's about following the money, and you got to be able to follow the money. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm following the money, showing you guys how to do it with technical patterns. All right. And inside of my group, I teach how to actually read the data without watching the chart, so we can position with confidence instead of getting chopped up in all these moves. All right. So we're looking for Tesla to get above the point of control here. If we cannot get above this point of control of 435, all right, we will not see a rally towards the upside, but we need to stay above where we are now, which is 411. In order for us to see any pressure towards the upside to retest 430. Got to stay above the 21 on the hour. That's what I see right now on Tesla. All right, let's double back on the SPY, and we're going to wrap this video up. Let's see what we have so far. All right, we are still hovering at 688. That is the price for SPY. Okay. Man, we are in calls inside of the group. We did calls based on our trading plan. We have stops in place. All right, now, possibly what could happen, right? It's 2:36. The market closed at 4 o'clock. We have some time before the market closed. There are people holding positions and or getting out of positions. And remember, we have to get above this breakout pullback zone. We got to get above this level here in order for us to see continuation. If not, like I said, we could fall back. All right, but you want to try to catch that structural hold. If we can hold, if we fall back, that's what you want to think about. Okay, this trading game can be very, very exciting and precise. You got to know when to get in. I don't want to buy calls at here. People chase just like they chase here. I would rather buy the pivot points. I would rather buy, okay, the technical patterns that I see, the high lows here, or shorten the market here, understanding that this was a wall. Somebody did the same thing and shorted and got rewarded because it fell before and they shorted here. But it held, price held. And there's a chance that we could fall again and stay within side of this range on SPY. All right, we could come right back down within the range of motion. Just to curl again, guys. This could possibly happen. We won't know unless structure breaks, okay? And we have time in the game. So remember this video, we will be recapping. And I got a small clip for you guys to watch, all right? Pretty exciting. It's from the movie Wolf of Wall Street. And it just really captures the reality and the disconnect between regular workers and people who know about trading and investing. So I wanted to double back on that, and we're going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for watching. Again, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have some incentives for those who want to join the group. We have an ebook for you and an app. That's right, a trading app that I created for the community. This is an exclusive drop, all right? It's an app called Auction Insights, and I want you guys to have access to it. But it's only available for those who subscribe to the Discord community, right? Because it's about exclusivity, and I want you guys to have it exclusively. Everybody can have access to it. So only for serious traders only, all right? That's what it's about, guys. Giving back. Now, we're going to check out this small clip, and we're going to wrap it up. Hope you guys are enjoying. This is the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. Here we go.
Yeah.
Is that your car? On what?
Yeah.
It's a Jag?
Yeah.
You make a lot of money?
Yeah, I do it right for myself.
I'm trying to put it together. Nice car. We live in the same building. I'm not understand how much money you make.
I don't know. 70,000 last month. I'm serious.
Yeah, no, I'm serious too. Seriously, how much money you make?
I told you. 70,000. Well, technically 72,000 last month.
You made 72 grand in 1 month.
Yeah.
I tell you what. You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now and I work for you. Hey, Paulie, what's up? No, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
Yeah, this was a very, very revealing movie, I would say so myself. And just that feeling, to capture that feeling, to understanding that somebody that's lived next door to you is making about 70 grand a month, or even 10 grand a month. What does it matter, right? They're making more from a skill that they decided to learn. And that's what it's about. And I've been doing this here for about 10 years, okay? And I teach people about risk to reward, all right? I teach them about OCO orders, to tell the computer what to do so you don't have to sit in front of the computer all day long, all right? Based on our criteria and what we like, all right? Learn how to open up a brokerage account. Learn how to do automatic orders, all right? We like automation. That's what it's about, okay? Now, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for watching, understanding what we got going on. This has been a great episode. Hope that you got some value from it. Again, rewind and check out some of the video of bulk of the video that you didn't understand, and come back so that you can have a clear clarity on what's going on. All right, there's going to be more videos like this. This was your weekend edition of the SPY. All right, the money is moving. Follow the banks and understanding what's going on. Look out for the other videos that I have, because I want to feed you guys and continue to bring value. Okay, thanks again for watching. Again, this is Coach UV. This is the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. And I see you guys in the next one. Peace.